And welcome again to the big match. Today, 3 games from the First Division with action from the top and the bottom of the table. And our main match is between two sides battling near the bottom as Spurs take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. And our studio guest from that game, the Spurs' popular Irish goalkeeper, Pat Jennings. We've also got some thrilling action from the bottom club, Sheffield United, as they meet Manchester City. And then we switch to the team that started the day at the top, Queen's Park Rangers, and their visit to Coventry City. But first of all, of course, we move off to White Hart Lane for Tottenham Hotspur's game against Wolves. Wolves, a side that's only one off the bottom of the First Division table. And indeed, Wolves have an appalling away record. They've won only once away from Molineux in the last 13 months. So the task, obviously, is going to be a difficult one for them today against this Spurs side, who are now beginning to move a little better and indeed have gone 7 games without defeat. So, as we come to White Hart Lane, it's Spurs against Wolves with a rainbow over the ground. And the team sheets for today show that for Spurs, Alfie Conn and Steve Perriman have both recovered from knocks, and Spurs can feel an unchanged side with young Neil McNabb as the substitute. Wolves make changes in the forward areas. Alan Sunderland gets another game at number 10. John Farley is brought in to the number 11 position. They face a Spurs side, as I say, that's had a recent good run, and someone who's never been on the losing side for them since he arrived from Aberdeen, their massive number 5, Willie Young. And in the Wolves team, good to see that former Arsenal stalwart, Bob McNabb, back in town. The referee today is Ron Crabb from Exeter, and the crowd for London's only First Division game is 26,100.
So Spurs kick off, attacking the goal to our left, white shirts, black shorts, white stockings. Wolves in the familiar old gold shirts, but this afternoon in white shorts because they can't clash, of course, with the black shorts of Spurs. Both sides, in fact, very much in the doldrums at the moment, particularly Wolves, next to bottom in the First Division. They've only won 1 of their last 7 league games. Spurs showing a smattering of form in their last 7 league games as Coates goes down and Gary Pearce struggling just a little bit as that ball gathered a bit of pace on the wet turf. Spurs, I say, 7 without defeat, and in fact a very good win last week at Leicester 3-2. And nobody more worried by that Wolves performance of the last few weeks than Bill McGarry in the sheepskin coat there, their manager. Here's Conn. Jones, Monroe, lost out there again. Chivers, Conn, McAllister up on the left, a spare man, here he is. Driven well, might come in from Neighbour, oh yes! Spurs ahead, 4.5 minutes gone, and a fine goal. With McAllister taking up a very intelligent position on the left touchline, doing the right thing as he was challenged by driving the ball in low, and it came through to Jimmy Neighbour, who hit a tremendous shot for his first goal of the season. Spurs 1, Wolves 0. Jimmy Neighbour, the man who's given Spurs the goal they badly wanted early on. Parkin. And a sort of goal, of course, that will once again knock the confidence of a Wolverhampton Wanderers side whose confidence has been knocked a fair bit. They've lost 11 of the last 12 away games they've played. A side at the moment that is very fragile indeed when it travels. Neighbour getting in again. Chivers pushed on towards Perriman, that bounced well for Jones. Conn couldn't quite get in there. And that'll be a throw. Chivers already coming across, that can mean only one thing. A long, long throw. McGarry looking a bit pensive there, the Wolves manager. And Chivers with that long, effortless throw again. Chris Jones getting his header in, and a good punch away, though, by Gary Pearce. Farley after it, but Pratt in command. Young. Chivers onside, but only just. Conn. Chivers, nicely played there by Tottenham. Conn going across there and almost number 2. But that really was some brilliant play again by Tottenham, involving Chivers and involving Conn, and almost making a chance. And just look now as Chivers goes thundering back the length of the field to try and dispossess Alan Sunderland. Gives away a free kick as he does so. But that fighting back by Chivers, I think, meant an awful lot to Tottenham. It shows the sort of spirit that they've begun to rouse again in themselves. A free kick though for Wolves. A moment of danger for Tottenham. Mike Bailey, the Wolves skipper, with it. Floated towards the near post, and Richards got up very well there. Way above McAllister. So Jennings, crowd bubbling a bit at the opening 7 minutes or so by Tottenham. Nab. Bailey putting it on rather hopefully. And Keith Osgood. Back to Jennings. John Richards shown a fair bit of pace already in this game. That'll fall for Chivers. Paul blocking the shot. Parkin doing the safe thing. Turn it again. The number of times that Wolves are giving the ball away at the moment is quite remarkable. Coates now finding McAllister, who had such a hand in that first Tottenham goal. Bailey beating Con. Willie Young there. McAllister again, sending it off to Chivers. A nice header there by Chivers for Neighbour. Taking on Parkin. Doing very well. Back for Coates. Oh, and a tremendous save there by Gary Pearce. Good jinking run by Jimmy Neighbour. Perfectly weighted pass there for Ralph Coates. Slight deflection, which made that save by Pearce even better. So a corner for Tottenham. Jimmy Neighbour's going to take it. Willie Young is up again. Perryman making the run towards the near post, but more as a decoy. And again, Young got there with a header. Bailey and Willie Carr. Farley. Bailey. Hibbett. Tremendous ball there by Mick Bailey. And Coates getting back in time for Tottenham. Superb ball by Bailey. Almost sent Hibbett on his way. Very good defence indeed by Ralph Coates. Hibbett with the Wolverhampton Wanderers corner. Frank Munro on the Spurs goal line. Well, that'll fall nicely for Young. Mike Bailey. Chivers presumably will get up to that one. No, he didn't in the end, but an offside against Farley. Wolves certainly looking to a man like Bailey now to get them on the move, to sort out their problems, particularly in midfield. Chivers. McAllister. McCall winning it in the air. Here's Perryman. Played for Coates. Pratt for Coates again. Good advantage played. Oh, well, that was bad luck for the referee. He did his utmost to play the advantage there. He waited and waited, did exactly the right thing, and then felt that Coates wasn't going to get up off his feet in time. But in the end, Ralph Coates did with the whistle had gone. So bad luck for the referee there, but it's a free kick for Tottenham. John Pratt with the free kick. Floated in again towards Willie Young, who pushed as he went in, giving Wolves the free kick. Young again. McNabb. Bailey. Parkin. Parkin again to Willie Carr. On for Farley again. This is a good Wolves move. Sunderland a little too high for him. And in the end, the header was no problem at all for Pat Jennings. McAllister. Jones. Now Neighbour. Coates is up there too. Ball back again. Parkin playing injury time now, although I can't think there's been any injuries that I can recall in the first 45 minutes. And the whistle goes for half-time. Strange first half, a brilliant first 10 minutes in which Spurs showed all the style in the world and scored the only goal so far through Jimmy Neighbour, and a very good one it was too, after some good work by Don McAllister. And then the game just fell away. It was aimless. The pole was constantly being given away, and there were really no passing movements worthy of the name. Nonetheless, there's plenty more to come on the big match this afternoon, and the half-time score at White Hart Lane that reads Spurs 1, Wolves 0. We'll be right back with the second half. Welcome back to White Hart Lane. Wolves now attacking the goal to our left, and Spurs with their substitute on, Neil McNabb, on for Alfie Conn. And that rain really has spiced up the surface a little bit, quickened up the game. Touch there by Richards. Sunderland hoping to make something of it. Here's Hibbett right across the line now for John Farley. Oh, Farley doing well. He might get a shot in here. He has! Jennings just got the touch to it. That was a very fine piece of goalkeeping as well. Good little thinking piece of play there by John Farley, former Watford man. Hit across the face of that goal, and another former Watford man, Pat Jennings, pushing it wide. Corner already taken. Here's McNabb with a chance to lift it in. And Hibbett's header over, and a goal kick. Jones. McNabb. Oh, that was a cheeky bit of skill, if you like. Neighbour maybe can take it up. Running into trouble, though. And Carr and Hibbett should get it away. Young. Play for McNabb again. Osgood. Jones up very well. Here's Perryman. There's McNabb with a shot just wide. Well, that was a good forceful break again by Tottenham, and not for the first time this afternoon. The heading ability of Chris Jones under pressure opened up the way. Perryman and McNabb both pouncing on it, and McNabb shot in the end going wide. Bailey. Sunderland. Carr, McNabb. John Richards, Hibbett. Oh, he was lucky to find the touch there for Farley. Oh, my word! Another beautiful Wolves move, and there haven't been many of them. And it came through eventually with a little touch of luck there as Hibbett played it on for Farley. Caught that superbly, and it looked for a moment as though it might hit the post and go in. That really was no more than an inch wide. Spurs taking it up again. Here's Chivers. McNabb doing his best to get in the way. That was the only way that he could stop him and go off the field at the same time. Daly will come on. Former England youth international. But the problem there for Wolves is that a defender goes off and an attacker comes on. Coates with the free kick. Coates again. Pratt. It's not a bad old shot. And in the it was a very good save. Making quite a habit of that, John Frank. Hitting long, dangerous shots from 30 yards. And that one he caught so well. And Pearce did well. A bit of anxiety on that Wolves bench now. They want people to stay forward in spite of pressure being put on them. And here's Willie Young. There's a goal! His first for Tottenham. And one that really could make all the difference now. The ball came over from the right. Young caught it well into the back of the net. Tottenham 2, Wolves 0. And Willie Young opens his account with his new club. And seems pretty pleased about it. Bailey. Farley. That should allow Spurs to relax a little bit and put on the style as they did in the first 10 minutes of this game. Although in all honesty they've looked a lot better again in this second half, as indeed have Wolves. Much better second half. Monroe getting that long ball away. Osgood. Young to the rescue. Pratt losing it, but it comes to Coates. Neighbour. Chivers, touched off again for McAllister. So Pearce with a goal kick. Nab. Nab to Pratt. That'll come for Perryman. Touched on now for Neil McNabb. Onto the left foot. Tried a little toe poke in the end, or he may have stubbed his toe as he tried a shot. It's Parkin. And now it's Farley. Bailey. Bailey getting in again. Trying to get in again, but it's Jimmy Neighbour now. 3 against 3 now, and a chance for Tottenham as Neighbour goes past his man, and the shot goes past Pearce and also past the post. Very interesting looking break that for Tottenham. 3 against 3. Neighbour taking on his man and beating him, and then shooting perhaps a little ambitiously, and the ball going wide. Sunderland a little too casual there. Jones robbed him. There's Chivers. Chris Jones. Neighbour. John Pratt towards Martin Chivers again. It looked to me as though he's being pulled back. Indeed, it's a free kick. Jimmy Neighbour with it. Curled in again towards Willie Young. Oh, McNabb! Yes! Number 3. Neil McNabb. Gary Pearce infuriated, and in fact the referee coming across to the linesman. But the linesman had already run back towards the centre. Now, is it 2-0 or is it 3-0? It's going to be 2-0. So Neil McNabb disappointed. The goal is ruled out. And that's a thing we'll have to look at. So here's Mike Bailey. Neva. Chivers. A call. Farkin. Daly. Now Bailey. Hit well and saved well. Daly coming in. Farley coming in and saved brilliantly. Never lets them down, Pat Jennings. Maybe a little fortunate with the first one, but a superb save from the second one. So a corner then for Wolves. Willie Carr again with it. Come for Carr again. Now for Parkin. Deflection and a corner. Hibbett with this corner for Wolves. Hit towards Bailey. On the volley! Oh, and what a save again! Absolutely amazing. Last season, Pat Jennings kept Spurs in the First Division. And today, he has kept Wolves out in brilliant style. Mike Bailey can't believe it. He caught that volley absolutely perfectly. And the crowd are still, 30 seconds after that save, still roundly applauding Pat Jennings. Look at Hibbett, he can't believe it either. Willie Young getting there. Still just under 5 minutes to go. Monroe. Bailey. Four for Willie Carr. Now for Bailey again, who's never stopped. Not stopping now either. John Richards with the shot and a deflection, and Pat Jennings is in trouble. No, he's not. Mike Bailey picking him up. A good sporting gesture there from the Wolves skipper. And that deflection looked as though it might have had Pat Jennings in trouble. All I can say is we should have known better. And he pushed it away again. Willie Carr now with the corner for Wolves. A much better second half for Wolves. Young getting it away. Parkin. Oh, cut out nicely there by Pratt. Here's Parkin. Wolves have got nearly everybody up now. Curious formation this. Even Monroe is up there and stayed up there. There's Hibbett with a shot, and there's Jennings again. Young. Hibbett. And Richards given offside. There wasn't much in it, because Pratt was a bit late coming forward. Our crowd are booing their own man, Don McAllister, for that pass back to Pat Jones. Jones with the header. Neil McNair. They haven't played badly today, Spurs, and they've shown some real signs as well. Chivers. Here's Jones. Can he turn on his man? He can! Well, he's not played at all badly, Chris Jones. He's taken a fair buffeting there as the target man so often. Deserved a goal there. He turned well and got away from the defender and then smashed wildly. Bailey. And Bailey again. Here's Daly. Or rather Parkin, and now for Willie Carr. Last seconds of the game now. Crossed in again there, Daly shot, and this time it's there. And so Wolves at least have got the goal that so much of their second half play has suggested that they deserved. Cross coming in, well hit from the left. Daly, the substitute, getting up well, and at last Pat Jennings is beaten. Spurs 2, Wolves 1. The scorer, Steve Daly. And we have no more than a few seconds left. Now, if Wolves can plant it downfield, they might still do something. Here's Sunderland with it. Bailey, right up there, stopped by Willie Young. Now it's with Coates. Now McAllister. Apart from the substitution, there really is no time at all to be added on. No injuries. Back with Pat Jennings again. And there goes the final whistle. A victory for Spurs, more trouble for Wolves. Willie Young having scored his first goal for Tottenham Hotspur in the second half, to add to one by Jimmy Neighbour, and then Steve Daly getting one right at the end for Wolves, who had a much better second half. But the hero for Spurs, no question of that, Pat Jennings. 3 or 4 absolutely tremendous saves, the best of all probably from that volley by Mick Bailey. So victory for Tottenham. The final scoreline here at White Hart Lane. Spurs 2, Wolves 1.
Yes, the man of the match, and never a doubt about it, of course, Spurs goalkeeper Pat Jennings, and we're delighted to have Pat with us today. In fact, I think it's the first time you've been on the big match in some 7 or 8 years, Pat.
That's right, Brian.
We've taken a long time getting round to you.
I think it's a bit longer than actually 12 years.
Well, there you are. It's good to have you today. And I noticed, in fact, quoting from the News of the World this morning, Mike Bailey says, "Don't ask me how he did it. All I know, and everybody in our dressing room agrees, that this fellow is the best in the world." That's nice to wake up to on a Sunday morning, I would think.
Yeah, it makes a change, yeah, Brian. But it's a very big place, the world. I wouldn't like to go as far as that.
But were you particularly happy with your performance yesterday, as everybody else seemed to be delighted with it, Wolves accepted?
Well, if we went through the same next week, finish with the same result, I'd be more than happy.
But your reactions seem as sharp now. What, you're 30 now, Pat, aren't you? They seem as sharp now as ever they were. What do you attribute that to?
Probably my position now helps me a little bit more than probably in the early years. I think being a goalkeeper, it depends a lot on this positioning.
Do you train as hard as you've ever trained?
I'm probably training a lot, well, say a little bit harder now than what I did in the earlier years with Bill Nicholson.
Concentrating on what sort of things now?
Well, every day now I have a goalkeeping session, maybe for 15, 20 minutes.
Let's have a look at some of those saves yesterday, and you tell us what it was that appealed most of all to you. Richards, where, if anything, I'll say it because I know you won't, that he exposes Willie Young a little bit there for pace. But what about his shot, Pat?
I think Keith Osgood there, if he hadn't fell over, could probably got a tackle in.
I'm interested in you, not Keith Osgood at the moment. Now, put your modesty aside for just one moment. I think, in fact, with this one here, probably you would felt you could have done a little better with that shot from Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I think you can see that it pitched a little bit in front of me there. Maybe only felt I might have held it. But I was lucky enough to get away with it here, knock the second one out.
That was luck, was it?
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think the one that everybody's raving about, and rightly so, certainly from a spectacular point of view, was this volley from Mike Bailey. Tell us about this from the word go.
Les Terry had been getting in the cross from the corner. Mike Bailey coming onto it now, and I didn't see it till it was on its way. And I think it was 2 or 3 yards off the line, so probably that made it look as good as what it does.
I spoke to a lot of journalists after the game yesterday who watched football over the world, and all agreed that was one of the best saves they've ever seen.
Well, I was pleased with it, but I think the fact that it was over my head, I would have been disappointed had it gone in the net.
And he hit it perfectly, Mick Bailey, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was probably what made it look that much, or as good as what it did.
Yeah, it's the ones that are mishit that are often the most difficult ones. But what I want to do now is to show you, the viewers, in fact, a Pat Jennings' eye view of that tremendous volley and the save. You'll just see Mike Bailey, and you'll just see the ball come onto his left foot in a moment. And as Pat said, he only saw it when it was on its way. As you can see, there are players in the way there. Superb. You've got Willie Young playing in front of you now. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think the fact that we haven't lost since Willie's come, that says enough for itself. He's done a very good job for his blocking up the middle.
You're still a bit near the bottom, though, aren't you?
Well, I think we're improving all the time. Mind, it's a bit worrying when you see a team playing as well as Wolves done yesterday to be below us.
Particularly in the second half, they look very
right.
good. I get a lot of letters from your fans in Ireland saying it's about time you had Pat Jennings on the television and show us some of his saves. In fact, Northern Ireland got a very difficult job in the European Championship, haven't they?
I thought we played well against Norway the other night. We could have easily scored 5 or 6 goals. And had we done it, would have left it a little bit easier for us in Yugoslavia. But I think we're still in with a chance.
Good. Well, for all our friends in Northern Ireland and for Spurs fans as well, I'm glad we've got you on the big match at last, Pat. And many, many congratulations on that performance yesterday.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
But, of course, one thing that we've got to sort out before we go on to our next match is why the goal by Neil McNabb that would have made it 3 for Spurs was disallowed by the referee, Ron Crabb. And I think as you look at it now, have a look at Willie Young coming forward, the big figure there in the centre. Does he push John Richards here as they go for that corner? There's his hands are up. And you'll see as Neil McNabb turns the ball very well into the back of that Wolves net, the first reaction of Gary Pearce, the Wolves goalkeeper, is to say, look, he pushed. And in the end, the referee agreed. Well, our second match features the club right at the bottom of the First Division. That's Sheffield United. They'd taken only 3 points from their first 14 games when they met up yesterday with Manchester City at Bramall Lane, Sheffield. Manchester City indeed had a day of trouble leading up to that game. Their coach was involved in a crash on the way to the game, and goalkeeper Joe Corrigan was taken ill and replaced at the very last moment by reserve Keith McRae. Well, the pictures come from Yorkshire Television. The commentator's Keith Macklin. Sheffield United in the stripes.
Heavy collision of bodies, but no foul. It was Watson who won it over Guthrie. This is Oakes running it. Good piece of work by Barnes. That don't know. Oh yes, it's Booth. Tommy Booth, who scored here last season, makeshift centre forward this afternoon, rattles in that goal. And Sheffield United up against it already in the opening minutes. So Tommy Booth, who might have been a Nottingham Forest player now, pressed into the number 9 jersey this afternoon. Bangs in the shot. Here's Woodward now. And again the pass adrift. And a quick 1-2-3 by City sends them away through Jewett. This is Hartford waiting for Clements to break on his outside, taking down the middle. Hartford shot! And that could be 2. Whoa, wonderful save by McAllister. McAllister looked hopelessly out of position when Jewett homed in on that. But McAllister, after making the first save, then saved brilliantly from Jewett. And getting a pat on the head from Colin Franks. It looked hopeless for McAllister there when Jewett moved in for the kill. There's the corner kick. Jewett. And Curry getting it away. Booth. Bell. Hooked away again by Curry. Still City keep it up. Woodward going for it. Badger. Oakes. And Booth is onside. But Cahoon intervenes. Still City keep it going. Now Eddie for Sheffield United. Dearden. Woodward. A long one right across the park for Garbutt. Really widened the pitch, did that Woodward pass, and gave Garbutt room for the cross, a deflection. And it's coming out to Dearden. Oh, good effort by Dearden, and a superb save by McRae. Magnificent goalkeeping at each end. Billy Dearden really caught that beautifully, and it was the fingertips of Keith McRae, Corrigan's deputy, that denied him. Garbutt. Up goes Watson and wins it. Now Bell. Oakes. Donaghy's gone outside Barnes. Barnes crossed towards Booth. Hemsley glancing it, but only into the path of Bell. Bell's low cross. The knees coming out to Clements, and a deflection for Barnes. Why, he scored! A goal out of nothing. The shot was deflected by a defender. I think it was Ted Hemsley. Barnes just didn't give it up. It looked as if it was going to travel out of play. But young Peter Barnes wouldn't give it up. He went after it, and from the narrowest of angles put it past McAllister. Eddie's header. That goal came in the 28th minute. Here's Woodward putting it up for Guthrie's header. And as Lark hits in the net, it was certainly over, and immediately within a minute, Guthrie has pulled one back. The goal famine of Bramall Lane is at last broken within a minute of Peter Barnes' goal. Guthrie, Chris Guthrie, gets his 6th goal of the season. Dearden, 1 minute, a corner. The last minute of the first half, Billy Dearden, one or two of whose passes have been going astray this afternoon. Alan Woodward quick to take this corner. Near post ball. Back out to Woodward from Dearden. In goes Guthrie! What a save by McRae from the 6-yard box! Guthrie went roaring in. He must have thought he'd equalised. Great save by McRae. Donaghy only as far as Badger. Woodward, that was a foul after the ball had gone. I think Chewett and Badger, no, it's not Chewett. Yes, it is. It's Chewett caught Badger after the ball had gone and went down himself. Both knees being attended to. Both men off the field temporarily. Badger struggling back onto it. Now is Mr. Kirkpatrick to get it moving. Referees differ. Roy Capey would have had the moving corner. Curry to take a free kick, so Chewett adjudged the offender. Curry's punch by McRae. Penalty! A penalty! Now, what has Mr. Kirkpatrick awarded here? It looks He's going out to linesman to consult. At first we thought it was a penalty. Yes, it is. Now, whatever that is for, presumably pushing in the box, the only thing we can presume is that either McRae, as he came out, or one of the Manchester City defenders was pushing as that free kick from Curry came over. Keith Eddy, who's scored from 2 penalties already this season, comes up for what could be Sheffield United's equalising goal. Yes, 2-2. And 7.5 minutes into the second half, the scoreline is 2-2.
And that's how it finished, 2-2. And of course it still leaves Sheffield United firmly at the bottom. But why was that penalty given to Sheffield United by referee Roger Kirkpatrick? As Curry puts the ball in, look at the 2 figures coming into the left of the screen now. Guthrie obstructed there by Watson, and obviously it must have been a bit more than obstruction, but that was the incident that caused the penalty to be given. But as time again for your letters, and first a plea from one of our younger viewers, from 15-year-old Anthony Dinmore of 41A Avenue Road, Southgate, London, N14, who says that I'm always going on about young players wearing shin guards, but he finds that his are always slipping around his legs almost as soon as the match starts, and he wonders if there are any hints on how professionals can keep them in place. Well, let's see how Stan Bowles of Queen's Park Rangers goes about it. Well, here's Stan in action against Manchester United in a game earlier this season. He gets injured in a moment as he goes into that tackle there. And when he's recovered from the pain of it all, we shall see just how Stan Bowles sorts out his shin guards. As you'll see, he has a plaster around them, around the back of his leg. I suppose as you get older, it wouldn't be a bad idea to shave the back of your leg, because otherwise it might be a bit painful getting them off. Well, glad to say we're once more getting a pretty full mailbag each week from Australia. Good to know we've still got so many friends down under. And we'll try, I think, from time to time to devote our letters section to your requests. But here's one to be going on with. Ross Jones of New South Wales. We've got Brian Oldland and Stuart Morrison of North Balwyn in Victoria, and Winston Smith of 74 Elizabeth Street, Paddington in Sydney, New South Wales, all raising the same point, in fact. They're saying, what is Max Tangles Walker, the Australian Test cricketer, doing grinning at us each week in your opening titles? Well, in fact, we saw Max with Gary Gilmore and Alan Turner, if memory serves me right, at an Arsenal match at the start of this season. And we invited Max in as our studio guest. And it was then that we learned the secret of so many of his great bowling performances. It's all down to the big match, it seems, because this is what Max Walker had to say.
Oh, yeah, 30 or 40 overs on the MCG. I'll be just coming around and get a second win by 10 or 12 o'clock on Saturday night. Sit back and watch the big match. Build myself up psychologically for the next day's play.
So West Indies be warned for this coming series in Australia, when Max Walker has had his dose of the big match the night before. We mentioned on the ball last week how Terry Payne of Southampton and Hereford had set a record for most league appearances, beating Jimmy Dickinson's. But Mrs. P. Thundercliffe of 91 Warren Avenue, Milton, Portsmouth, writes to remind me that Jimmy Dickinson still holds the record for appearances for one club, Portsmouth, of course. And here's Jimmy in action in a cup replay against Bolton in 1954, when Fratton Park was full. Happy days. And there is Jimmy Dickinson on the right in the dark shirt, number 6, with Willie Moyer, the captain of Bolton Wanderers. And what about that for a crowd, 1954 style?
That should have got them a goal or two last time. Left winger Ray Parry puts the ball into the middle, but even Mansell's header doesn't stop the Bolton drive. In the 4th minute, goalie Platt parries one, but Moyer bangs it home. A surprise goal that shook Pompey to the core. Pompey seem out of luck until winger Harris throws in. Phillips to Dickinson. Watch this move carefully. Back to Phillips, who neatly lobs it over as Gordon races into head, and that's the equaliser. Portsmouth and Bolton 1-1. Ray Parry has it. Parry centre brings Lofthouse into the picture, and his left-footed shot sends Platt down to save. Bolton keep up the pressure. A header by Billy Moyer, and there's another one. Bolton 2, Portsmouth 1.
And more letters for you next week. Before we go on, just a quick word about a testimonial match at Barnet on Thursday night, 7:30, for Jack McClellan, the former Arsenal and Fulham goalkeeper who's been very ill, and amongst those down to play, Jimmy Greaves. Now our third match as we follow the fortunes of the exciting Queen's Park Rangers side that started yesterday at the top of the First Division. They were away to Coventry City. The pictures come from ATV. The commentator's Hugh Johns. Queen's Park Rangers are in the red and white halves.
Francis. Lloyd for Coop. Mortimer's going through the middle. That's a beautifully flighted ball for him. And the shot is on for Holmes. Drove it well. Really fired that one. Well, that was a fine bit of attractive attacking football from Coventry. And they haven't done with that move yet. Brogan knocks it in again. Green. And the cross! Oh, that Rangers goal is very absolutely charmed life at the moment. Cross very nearly getting that one. Mortimer to his right. Green goes on running. Parks came well. Masson. Thomas is all right. He's gone through for a goal here. Now, in fact, it's going to be Don Givens. Will walk one in. 1-0. A most remarkable whack back by Queen's Park Rangers. 4 minutes into the second half. Don Givens, this how a goal-scoring week Don Givens has had. That's goal number 5 for him this week. The first one here today. That ball knocked out Thomas, ghosting through Coventry, who were looking for the offside. Linesman kept his flag down. Thomas went on alone. Might have tried one himself. Looks, sees Givens, feeds him a perfect scoring chance. Well, that's a slap in the eye for Coventry, and again, an indication that at home they really can't do anything. Mortimer. Cross. Coop. Brogan. Jimmy Holmes. Brogan to try it. Didn't get any beef on it. Hutchison. Jimmy Holmes. Oh, and that very nearly clipped in. The ball took a slight deflection after Holmes struck it, and Parks did very, very well indeed to guide it round the post. Or Coventry get out of a corner, their third corner of the game. Looking for Lloyd's jump. And Hutchison, and it's knocked away. Tommy Hutchison, ball bouncing down to him, and Rangers defenders angry amongst themselves for making a right boo-boo of that situation. Cross getting a touch on for Green, who now attacks Webb. Mortimer. Cross! Oh, he did that beautifully! A goal of sheer perfection! 1-1, 14 minutes into the second half. As good a goal as Dave Cross will score at any time in his life. Entitled to look happy about that one. The attack, which he initiated with his header down the right side. Finally, the ball struck back to him. He turned, struck it in one beautiful movement, and Parks had no chance. Gillard back for McClintock. Coop has done it wrong. And that was very nearly a goal for Dave Webb. Bowles, far post. Gibbons. Bit of a let-off then for Coventry. Thomas with a lot of space in front of him to attack. Gibbons tempting Powell for Francis now. The 1-2 work for Francis.
Well, one feels that Francis might have done better with that free gift that finally came to him.
Well, that's it. Don't forget On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime, and the big match, of course, next Sunday afternoon at 2. And as Pat Jennings, our guest today, signs the big match autograph book, they say goalkeepers are crazy. They're brilliant as well. Let's reflect again on the view of the Wolves players yesterday that Pat is the greatest goalkeeper in the world. Who can argue with that after yesterday's breathtaking performance for Tottenham Hotspur?
So often look to Bailey for any sort of inspiration. Here's Willie Carr. A little touch inside again. Oh, and a great save again by Jennings from Daly. Now Bailey. Hit well and saved well. Daly coming in, Farley coming in and saved brilliantly. John Richards with the shot and the deflection, and Pat Jennings is in trouble. No, he's not. There's Hibbett with a shot, and there's Jennings again. Hit towards Bailey. On the volley. Oh,